Hey there everybody, instead of fishing today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to do a little step-by-step how-to video on how to put together a waterproof battery box for your kayak. Now these battery boxes can be used for a variety of different applications. I used mine personally to power a fish finder. I know other people use them to power lights, any other sort of electronics, charge your phone even while you're out there. And it's just nice to have to keep the battery nice and dry, so it's one less thing you have to worry about when you're out on the water. Okay. So, if you're going to build one of these battery boxes, you're going to need a couple, I want to say ingredients, but you're going to need a couple things here in order to make this happen. First thing, obviously, you're going to need is a box. I got mine at Walmart. It was in the camping section. They had them for like $10, $15. I don't exactly remember, but it wasn't super expensive. It's got a nice seal. I'll open it up here. It's got a nice seal on the inside of the lid all the way around. That's going to keep everything nice and waterproof. Good latches here on the side. And overall, it's a really sturdy box, so I'd recommend this one. Again, it's just available at Walmart in the camping section. They have similar boxes on Amazon. Those would probably work just as well, but I'm personally going with what I have experience with. Second thing you're going to need is a battery. Got this battery off Amazon. Here's a little close-up there. Got the battery off Amazon. It's worked really well for me so far. It's a 12-volt, 7-amp-hour battery. And I've had really good success with that. I've been out fishing 5-6 hours with no problems, no low battery, nothing like that. Not exactly sure how long it would last, and I don't really intend on finding out. So far it's worked perfectly for my application. Next thing you're going to need is some wires to get from inside the box to the battery, outside the box to whatever electronics you're going to need to power. Personally, I used one of these. It says accessories extension on the box. I've also heard it called as an SAE cable. I ordered mine off Amazon. I think I've heard that they have these at like auto parts stores, because typically what these are used for is connecting your car to your trailer so you can power the taillights, things like that. They're not technically waterproof, but if you think about it, if you're plugging your car into your trailer, that's going to be going outside, it gets rained on. So for splash purpose, like splash resistance and things like that, I've heard these are pretty reliable. I've heard there are waterproof options available, but personally I went with this and I've had no problems so far. Next thing you're going to need is a way to connect these wires to your battery. So I just went down to the local hardware store and grabbed these, they call them female disconnects, also heard them called spade connectors. Come in a couple different sizes. For the wires I was using, the 22 to 16 gauge was the right size, so that's what I used for that. Next, you're also going to need a pair of wire cutters, wire strippers, crimpers. I just bought a cheap set at Harbor Freight and had no problem using these for this project. Next thing you're going to need is a cable gland or grommet or something like that, something to create a waterproof barrier from the outside through the hole that you had to drill to the inside. Personally, I use these ones here, just a little plastic cable gland. These are the PG7S size. Worked pretty well for the wires I was using. They also make these in metal, which may be a little more durable, but I've had no problem with the plastic ones so far. Another important thing you're going to need is a drill and a bit in order to drill through this plastic box to be able to feed the wires through. I had to kind of do a little guess and check on sizing of the drill bit to use, but I landed on 1/2 inch as the perfect size. So there's a kind of a close-up of the one that I used there and had pretty good luck with. Tried with 3/8 inch first, and it was too small, so I had to go back in and drill another hole with the 1/2 inch. So if I could have just gone with the 1/2 inch first, I would have had a better time. And then the last thing you're going to need, you may already have laying around, and that is a pool noodle. Now that may sound sort of ridiculous. Here I'm building a waterproof battery box for my kayak. Why do I need a pool noodle? And that's just going to provide some padding on the inside of the box. Okay, so we've got our box here, and first thing we're going to need to do is drill that hole. As I was saying earlier, I used a 1/2 inch drill bit. So personally, I drilled mine through the side here, since I knew that my battery would be here, connecting to my fish finder straight down that way. Other people drill them in the top, because the way that their storage in their kayak works better that way. So that's kind of a matter of personal preference. The only thing you're going to want to make sure is that you drill it at some point high up in the box, whether it be on the side or on the top, just in case this thing starts getting underwater, that your water level is going to be below this. It is supposed to be waterproof, but taking caution to make sure you don't submerge the thing, probably still a good idea. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is take that hole that we drilled and insert the cable gland. So the way this one works is this is the middle of it. This cap here goes on the outside of the box, and as you tighten that, it constricts the rubber on the inside, and which is what gives you a good seal around the wires and keeps that waterproof. Now on the inside, there's an O-ring that's going to help prevent any water from slipping through kind of the outside of it, and then just a little nut here to secure it on the back and keep it in place. So we'll put that in there, and after that, we will put the wire through. So the connector that I bought came as one long piece here. So we had to cut it in half and then kind of strip the wire out from each side to give some exposed wire, and then feed that through the box. Now you want to make sure that you're going to cut it with enough room to give it to go from the outside through the hole to the connectors on the battery. If you cut it too short, that's not going to work. So cut that in half. Keep the other end, because eventually you're going to use that to connect to your electronics. So after you do that, it's going to look something like this. One thing I forgot to mention is that you're going to want to either shrink wrap these wires or do something similar like that, just to keep them nice and close together, help keep it more watertight. So you're going to feed that wire from the outside through the cable gland to the inside of the box, and then after you do that, you're going to want to attach your connectors. So I just put those on there, strip the wire, slide the connector on, grip it, you're good to go. I've had no problem doing that with mine since I did that, and it's worked pretty well. So essentially, you've done all the dirty work. All that's left to do is connect the battery, so we'll go ahead and do that. I know I said the next step was to connect the battery, but we have one more thing to do, and this is where that pool noodle comes into place. So I took my pool noodle and cut it into a bunch of these little donuts, maybe an inch or two in width, and we're going to take two of those and slide them over these wires. So take two like that. So then it kind of looks like this. And then we will take that battery and put it in there. So red goes to red, white goes to black. Good, all connected, then we just drop it in there. And what those pool noodles are going to do is they're going to provide a little bit of cushioning for the battery. So that way it stays in place. So then I have two more noodles left. Take one, shove it in the side here. Just like that. And then one more I just put on top of the battery. And as I said, these are just going to provide a little padding. So after you shut the box here, you can give that thing a good shake, and that battery is not going anywhere. Now that'll come in handy if you're transporting your kayak, dragging it on the ground, carrying it, you drop it or something. It's going to keep that battery in a good position and make sure those wires don't come unconnected. Alright, so we've got the business end of our battery box here all built and ready to go. The last thing we're going to do is take this connector and get it ready to plug into your electronics. So, as I said earlier, you wanted to keep the other half of this connector here, because this is going to plug in just like that to your connector, and then from here it's going to go to your wires for your electronics, fish finder, what may have you. So yeah, and that's it. So I'm not gonna go over that part because everybody's electronics are going to be a little bit different. Personally, I use the Garmin Striker 4, and that was really straightforward to hook up. I just took the other side of here, used a butt connector to splice it into the wires for my fish finder, and worked just fine. Also, I covered those in shrink wrap again, just to keep that connection nice and waterproof, and I've had no problems with lack of waterproofing so far. A couple last things I forgot to mention. After I was done with all this, I decided to put a piece of Velcro on the back of my box, put the other side of the Velcro inside the kayak, so that way I can just drop this onto the Velcro and it stays nice and put. It's not sliding all over the place. Definitely something I would recommend doing. So all of the products I kind of went over today, all of the ones I ordered from Amazon, I'll post a link down below. Alright, well hopefully I was able to walk you through each step of the process there. I'm sure I probably forgot something, so if you have any questions, please drop a comment down below. In the future, I'm thinking about doing this video again, but actually building a box as I go. I'm kind of walking you through each step of the process, actually doing one of these. And if I do that, I will give away the finished product to a viewer. So if that's something you'd be interested in, please drop a comment below, subscribe, like the video, so that way I'll know that this is something people would actually like to see. So again, thanks for watching, and I know I didn't catch any fish today, but always remember, It's fish o'clock somewhere.